there has not been a lot of research on what drives DNS abuse. So we really don't know. So we know a fair amount, and Anil was talking about DAR, and we're measuring the symptoms of DNS abuse, which is how much phishing and malware is out there. And that's important work and something the DNS Abuse Institute is also working on. But we don't really know what drives it. We've got some pretty good educated guesses. Almost certainly there's going to be a relationship with price, that the lower the retail price, the more abuse you're going to get. And I don't think it is by default impossible to offer low-cost DNS abuse, or sorry, low-cost domains. But if you're going to do that to drive your growth, you need to make sure that you've got the tooling in place, the mechanisms and processes in place to be able to see those incoming registrations and make sure that they're not abusive. And if they are, to respond to them quickly. I think that's about how you would grow responsibility. And so you need to make sure if you're going to do one thing, you've got the pieces to make sure you're reacting. One of the last bits, and I see your hand, Anil, I'll come to you in a sec. I wanted to share some of the work that the institute that I run is working on, because I think it's going to be helpful for this community. One is we're working on educational resources out there, how to distinguish between a compromised website and a malicious registration. And we're going to be working, hopefully, with partners in this community to translate and disseminate that work, to get it in front of everybody, to help everybody understand these issues. One of the other big things that we're working on and launching, hopefully in June, just ahead of the ICANN meeting in The Hague, is going to be a sort of universal abuse reporting tool that is going to take abuse reports from anywhere, anyone, standardize them, make them high quality, enrich them with information from other sources like block lists and intelligence from the internet, and then get them to the registries and registrars where they need them, when they need them. And it's my hope that work like this, bringing people together, is really going to help us combat DNS abuse collectively. But one of the messages I've heard today a few times, and I think it's related to that, is about relationships and collaborating in this space. Edmund talked about .Asia's relationship with TWNet, and I think that's a really interesting bilateral model, and there's plenty of room for that. But I think there's also more room for all of us to begin coming together, and not just in panels like this, but in, hopefully, rooms where we can get together and talk about DNS abuse and share our practices and understand what works and what doesn't, and really begin to figure out those differences, especially for the APAC region, and help make ourselves all better. And I think there's a ton of room for that. And I will help try and lead that, but I definitely need partners in the APAC region because there's just so much I don't understand.